Detroit Tigers, they've been on a little bit of a better June than the first 2 months of the season. They've been winning some games. They just swept the White Sox. They even got a win against the Yankees, but they still find themselves 10, 11, 12 games under 500. Coming up on the halfway point of the season. They did not expect to be here. And even if they start playing a little bit better, like they would have to play spectacular at this point just to get to 500. So it's looking like a lost season. And there's also a big conversation to be had about Tarik Skubal because he is likely going to walk in the offseason. I believe he's a free agent either this year or next year. I'm pretty sure it's this year though. And he's likely to walk anyways. So I'm sure the Tigers don't want to lose him. I'm sure they wish they would have signed him last offseason, to a big contract, but didn't get that done. And you're at the point where you're not contending this year, unless it's something drastically changes in the next month. And he's likely to walk, so you want to get anything you can from him. So it is, I would say, it is still very, very likely he's going to be dealt at the deadline, which leads, where's the best fit? And I'll throw it to Jake first. What team do you think would be the best fit for Skubal?
Yeah, Tarik Skubal obviously dominates, the obviously dominates his division. Tarik Skubal is one of the best pitchers in the AL, coming off that AL start last year in the All-Star game. Um, but yeah, Evan, I mean, the Tigers are not contending this year. I'm sorry. The 34 and 46, 70.5 games out of first place. Tarik Skubal coming off of injury, could the Tigers find a trade partner for him? One team that makes absolute sense to me is the Atlanta Braves. The Atlanta Braves are continuing down the stretch, obviously. They have a good team. Um, they need pitching help, and Tarik Skubal, I think, fits that. Paul Frame, he pitches really well, dominates. I think very good for in Atlanta.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, I'll throw it to Jordan first, actually. Yeah, let's hear from Jordan first, and then I'll weigh in.
I just have something quick to say. I just believe Tarik Skubal would be the best fit for the Braves. Like Jake said, contending team. We're at the halfway point, so this is when you start thinking, oh well, do we need this? Do we need that? And then I don't remember if Jake mentioned this about the injuries to the pitching staff. We recently saw Spencer Strider go on the IL. Spencer Schwellenbach hasn't pitched yet this year. Kirsten Waldrop has not pitched yet this year. I know Chris Sale's been, Chris Sale. Um, but the Braves desperately need help. And I believe Tarik Skubal won the AL Cy Young last year, correct?
Yep.
So that would be a big addition to a depleted pitching staff. And I don't know if that would put the Braves as favorites in the National League. Just really quick, what do you two think?
Oh, favorite again, the Dodgers super team. You're facing Mr. Four different $200 million contracts and above. It's tough to be the favorite over that, but it helps them get a lot closer. Jake, what would you say though?
It is tough to be the favorite over Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Shohei Ohtani, and everyone else the Dodgers have. But you pair Struble with Chris Sale, you got two of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball right there. I mean, it's very hard to beat the Dodgers, but I think Braves are definitely either second or even ahead of the Dodgers as favorites.
Yeah, so you guys were thinking definitely what I was thinking. I was thinking the Braves as well. Like Jordan said, Chris Sale right now, 36-year-old Chris Sale, is the ace for the Braves right now. But
Kept going
they're
strong.
he's still going strong. But like Jordan said too, there's injuries. They've had other starting pitching injuries, and I would say probably just looking at the numbers, I'll even ask Jordan this right now. Martin Perez is probably the second best pitcher. What would you think on that one, Jordan?
Right now you're probably correct. I know Bryce Elder has struggled of late, so I don't, really have trust in him. I know Martin Perez is going out there every night, pretty solid outing. So I would say he's actually the second best pitcher in the rotation right now.
Yeah, which is crazy because he's like 35 years old or something. I mid 30s at least, but yeah, he's pitching pretty well. But that I think that's the thing. There might be like again, we were talking about would the Braves be the favorite or something like that. Like that, they just need to be able to compete with the Dodgers. And I think, making a move like this, if you're going to compete with them, you got to have, they've got a super team. You got to try to form your super team. So I think, Skubal, they might have to give up a decent amount. But, I mean, a rotation with Sale and then Skubal and then Martin Perez, who's pitching very well, as the three. That starts to line up with the Dodgers a little more. So I think, I even if they have to give up a lot, I think because of who you're facing, the Los Angeles Dodgers, you need to make this move to try to form your own super team.
I just don't know if it's a bad thing or not. The three pitchers that Evan just named, they're all left-handed. So I am kind of, I kind of like throwing in a mix, you know.
Balance is good, but a lot of teams also face or not face. They also fear the southpaws, so you gotta look at that. But that's a good point by Jordan. Balance is good, and I do agree. I think the Braves would be the best fit. One other team that I will throw in, and we talked about in the other baseball topic, would be um the San Diego Padres, I think. If they decide they're competing, I know they're only, I think, like 2 games above 500 right now, roughly, like hovering just a little bit over 500. If they decide that they want to buy, and usually they have, they're one of the most aggressive teams in baseball, usually. That would not be a bad fit as well because really good lineup, but not the greatest at pitching. So if they think they could win, I think that would be a good fit too.
Now, one of the other teams that I have heard, one of the rumors that I want to address is people, there's rumors out there swirling that the Marlins will try and acquire Tarik Skubal at the deadline. Now, the Marlins have went through some pitching issues of their own. Obviously Robbie Snelling is out for the year. Made one career start. He's out for the year with I want to say Tommy John surgery. Um, you just got Yuri Perez back from injury. Tyler Phillips is an opener, so is Lake Parker. So the Marlins definitely have holes on their pitching staff. Um, so would the Marlins potentially go out and get Struble and pair him with Sandy Alcantara?
I just can't see it in any scenario, even if they go on a tear and the Marlins are all of a sudden buyers. I just can't see it due to the fact that Skubal is going to walk and go somewhere else in free agency, and the Marlins don't. At least right now, I know the whole lockout may happen. Fingers crossed. We get a salary cap, but he's probably going to walk somewhere, and the Marlins aren't going to want to pay him. I think the Braves, if they trade for him, they understand that. They understand he's going to hit, but the Marlins being more of a cheaper team, and I'm a fan of a cheaper team too. I just can't see them making that move, even if they go on a tear. But they might get some pitching though. Yeah.